Have you ever stopped to think that there's a day marked in humanity's timeline when everything changes? A day that won't be just another date on the calendar, but the mark of an inevitable turning point, one that will separate those who are ready from those who are still asleep. September 2nd, 2025. It's not just a prediction, nor a coincidence. It's the point at which Earth will begin to make its own selection. Many won't notice the signs until it's too late, but those who pay attention will feel a silent voice within them, an irresistible call to prepare for the new reality that is already beginning to emerge. What will happen on that day won't just be visible in the sky, in the movements of nature, or in strange events that defy logic. It will happen within you, in your mind, in your heart, and in your soul, because the true battlefield is not outside, but within each of us. And perhaps this is the greatest revelation. The Earth will not carry people in the physical sense that many imagine, but rather through the vibration each of us chooses to sustain. And I ask you, are you ready for what's coming? In the silence of the early morning of September 2nd, 2025, thousands of people around the world will feel something they cannot explain. It will be as if an energy courses through their bodies, awakening ancient memories, recollections of past lives, and even glimpses of possible futures. This invisible call will be soundless, but it will echo louder than any scream. It will be as if the very heart of the Earth connects with every human heartbeat, silently asking, "Are you ready to move forward?" Many will ignore this call, attributing it to a strange dream, a passing sensation, or just another ordinary day. But those who stop to feel it will realize that it's not just an impression. It's as if the body weighs differently, as if breathing has a different rhythm, as if the air is charged with an invisible presence. This presence is the warning that separation has begun. It's not a threat, but a choice. The Earth isn't punishing anyone. It simply responds to the vibrations each person has chosen to cultivate over time. This invisible call will also provoke resistance. Many will feel fear, thinking they're going crazy or that something bad is about to happen. But fear is precisely the first test. It's the narrow door that separates those who trust with their eyes closed from those who crumble before the unknown. If you feel this chill in your soul, know that it's a sign that you're facing something much greater. What decides the next step is not doubt, but the courage to persevere. And perhaps you've already sensed this calling before September 2nd. Small signs have been happening: recurring dreams, coincidences that seem like messages, encounters with people who changed your path, feelings of déjà vu that seem like subtle warnings. None of this is coincidence. It's preparation. The big day doesn't arrive suddenly. It's being announced in whispers to those who know how to listen. So I ask you, when this call touches you, will you ignore it as if it were just another illusion? Or will you accept it as the invitation that life itself is extending to you? Because deep down, what will happen is not an imposition. It is a choice. Earth does not force, it invites. And each soul, in the silence of its innermost being, will have to decide whether it wants to remain trapped in the old world or if it is ready to cross over into the new reality. The moment Earth begins its selection, there will be no turning back. This doesn't mean anyone will be judged or condemned, but rather that frequencies can no longer coexist in the same way. Imagine two completely different radio stations, one playing soft melodies, the other emitting deafening noises. Both exist, but you can only tune into one at a time. September 2nd, 2025, it will be the day when this choice of tuning becomes inevitable. The weight of choice won't come from outside. There won't be a voice telling you which path to take. It will come from within, through the feelings you nurture, the intentions that guide your life, and the way you treat others and yourself. Those who have cultivated the energy of compassion, clarity, and courage will feel a lightness, as if pulled forward into a safe space. Those who insist on holding on to resentment, anger, and ego will feel the Earth pulling away from them, as if a veil were separating them from the new reality. This choice isn't manifested in words or superficial promises, but in vibration. It's the silent language of the universe, which can't be fooled by appearances. Many may say they believe in something greater, but if their actions and feelings don't match, the frequency won't hold. It's like trying to hold sand in your hands. No matter how much you pretend, the truth slips away. On selection day, the only thing that will count is the coherence between who you are inside and what you project outward. And this consistency will be the greatest test. It doesn't matter if you've made mistakes, fallen, or lost your way along the way. What matters is whether your essence still seeks the light even when stumbling, because those who carry within themselves the sincere intention to grow, even if imperfect, will find a space to continue. But those who have settled into the darkness, refusing to change, will be led to scenarios where they will have to face what they have avoided until now. The weight of choice is silent, but absolute. In September 2nd, 2025, you won't need to raise your hand, sign anything, or publicly declare your path. Your vibration will have already chosen for you. So reflect. What have you been nurturing these past few days? What have you been allowing within yourself? This silent response will be the key that will open or close the door to the new reality. As the day progresses, something invisible will begin to settle between people. It will be as if a veil separates different worlds within the same street, the same house, the same environment. Some will begin to speak of hope, feel courage, and see meaning in the events. Others, on the contrary, will plunge into despair, confusion, and a sense of abandonment. It won't be visible to the eye, but everyone will feel something dividing them, as if they no longer breathe the same air. This veil of separation is the natural consequence of Earth's frequency shift. It doesn't mean people will disappear before our eyes, but rather that their consciousnesses will be tuned into parallel realities, even if they share the same physical space for a time. It's as if two worlds coexist, one opening to the new, the other desperately trying to cling to the old. And this transition will be painful for those not prepared to let go. What will be most striking is that even the closest bonds will be affected. Families who have always walked together may feel like they now speak different languages, even though they use the same words. Old friendships can become distant in a matter of days, as if something invisible blocked the connection. This will not be a punishment, but a consequence. Each soul will follow the path they chose by vibration, and some of these roads will no longer cross the same landscapes. This moment will require courage, because many will try to cling to the people they love, without realizing that no one can hold someone by force when their heart has already chosen another path. Trying to bind someone to your frequency will be like holding a bird that needs to fly. Instead of protecting you, you only hurt. And at the same time, you will need to accept that others will try to pull you down, trying to prevent you from moving forward. The test will be in standing firm, without hatred or fear, even when everything seems to be crumbling around you. The veil of separation is, in fact, an act of love from Earth herself, because she knows that there is no way for everyone to evolve together, if some are not yet ready. By separating, she is not excluding, but rather giving each soul the chance to learn at their chosen pace. For some, the future will be a bright new beginning. For others, it will be a cycle of more intense challenges. The question remains, which side of this veil will you be on? On September 2nd, 2025, many won't need to look up at the sky or watch the news to realize something extraordinary is happening. They will feel it in their own bodies. Some will experience an inexplicable lightness, as if the air has become purer, as if an invisible energy sustains them from within. Others, however, will feel an immense heaviness, sudden pains, inexplicable fatigue, and even emotional crises that seem to come out of nowhere. These signs are not coincidences. They are physical and spiritual responses to the Earth's vibrational shift. The human body is like an antenna, constantly picking up frequencies from around it. When the planet raises its vibration, those already aligned perceive this attunement as a burst of energy, a sudden awakening that propels them forward. But those who resist the process feel as if they are being pressured, as if their own body is screaming at them to release the burdens they carry. Every pain, every anguish, will be an invitation to abandon that which no longer serves them. And it won't just be in the body that these signs will appear. The soul will also begin to speak louder. Vivid dreams, spiritual encounters during sleep, memories that seem to belong to no longer this life. All of this will emerge with intensity, bringing messages that can no longer be ignored. The line between the visible and the invisible will become increasingly thin, and those who pay attention will realize they are not alone in this process. It's as if ancestral voices, hidden masters, and the very wisdom of the Earth itself want to guide us amidst the chaos. But it's important to understand that these signals are not punishments. The body is not being punished, and the soul is not being tormented. On the contrary, these are all adjustments. It's like when someone wakes up from a deep sleep, and the body takes a few seconds to adjust to the light. The initial discomfort is just part of the adjustment. The key is to welcome these signals instead of resisting them. Allow the body to cleanse itself, the mind to calm, and the soul to speak without fear. If you feel these signs, remember, there's nothing wrong with you, but something profoundly right. Your body and soul are being recalibrated to adapt to a new reality. Don't fight it. Don't shut yourself down. Don't try to numb this call. Breathe deeply, feel, trust. Because these signs are living proof that you are participating in the greatest transition Earth has ever experienced. Amidst all the chaos this day will bring, there will come a moment when silence will be more revealing than any words. Not the silence imposed by the absence of sounds, but the inner silence that comes when the mind finally stops screaming and the heart can be heard. In that moment, many will discover that the answer they sought outside has always been within them, and this will be one of the greatest tests, being able to hear the call of silence amidst the noise of the world. Silence will reveal truths that were previously hidden. It will show which bonds are genuine and which were sustained merely out of convenience. It will show which choices were made out of fear and which were born of courage. And, above all, it will show who you truly are when everything around you loses its meaning. Many will be surprised by the strength they find within themselves, a strength they never imagined they possessed. Others will realize they have been living behind masks, and this will be the most painful shock. This silence will also serve as a watershed moment. Those who can remain at peace, even for a moment, will find a new frequency available to them, a safe space where they can rest their weary souls. Those who flee this silence, filling it with distractions and despair, will only feel more noise, as if they were being suffocated by their own minds. Silence won't be easy, but it will be liberating. Many will discover at this moment that silence is not empty but full. It is like an invisible door that has always been before us, waiting for us to find the courage to walk through it. On the other side, there is clarity, there is purpose, there is a new life that has already begun to call, but it is necessary to silence the voices of fear, doubt, and ego for this door to open. Without silence, there is no passage. September 2nd, 2025 will show the world that silence is more powerful than any speech, because it is in silence that the truth of the earth and the truth of the soul meet. It's not about seeking outside, but about diving within, and perhaps this is the secret few will understand. Silence is not absence, it is revelation, and only those who have the courage to listen to it will find the path to survival in the new reality. When Earth begins its selection, many relationships that seemed indestructible will suddenly and painfully break, not because anyone consciously decided to walk away, but because the vibrations no longer fit. It will be like trying to put together puzzle pieces that appear to belong to the same game, but were actually shaped by different realities. This will be one of the most challenging aspects of the process, accepting that not everyone who has walked with you thus far will be able to move on. These ruptures will not be limited to superficial relationships. Many of them will occur within families, marriages, long-standing friendships, even in bonds that once seemed sacred. This is not a punishment, but a consequence of the fact that each soul chooses, consciously or unconsciously, what it wishes to vibrate. Those who cling to control, power, lies, or fear simply will not be able to walk alongside those who have chosen to live by truth, love, and courage. The clash between these frequencies will be inevitable. The impact of these ruptures can be devastating for many. There will be tears, there will be anger, there will be feelings of abandonment and injustice. But if you look deeper, you'll realize that this separation is an act of protection. The earth isn't separating out of cruelty, but out of care. She understands that if two incompatible vibrations try to walk together in this new cycle, both will suffer. And so, even though it hurts, the separation is necessary. It doesn't destroy, it simply redirects each person to where they can grow. For some, it will be like losing a part of themselves, but they will soon realize that the space left by absence will be filled by new connections, truer ones, more aligned with the new reality. It's as if the universe removes from their lives those who have already fulfilled their role by their side, making room for others, who share the same frequency, to come closer. The void is not the end. It is merely preparation for a new beginning. If you find yourself in the midst of these ruptures, remember, it's not about losing people but about finding yourself again. What remains is always what vibrates in the same direction your soul chose to follow. And on September 2nd, 2025, this truth will be impossible to deny. Many will try to resist, but those who accept it courageously will realize that, even in the most painful goodbyes, there is a promise of renewal. On the night of that same day, when the world seems plunged into a heavy silence, Many will experience revelations that will forever change their perception of life. Some will see in dreams scenes from other worlds, reunions with beings of light, visions of possible futures. Others, even awake, will sense the presence of something greater, as if invisible dimensions finally become accessible. It will be a night when the veil between the visible and the invisible will become so thin it will almost disappear. These revelations won't just be comforting. Many of them will be harsh, revealing truths that have been hidden for years, even centuries. People will glimpse their own mistakes, choices that need to be made right, paths that need to be corrected. For some, facing this reality will be too painful, but for those who accept it, it will be the beginning of a profound healing. Because the truth, however difficult, always sets you free. It will also be a night of reconnecting with one's own essence. Many will realize they have never been alone, that spiritual guides, ancestors, and protective energies have always accompanied them. This sense of belonging will give them the strength to carry on, even when everything seems uncertain. It's as if the universe is saying in unison, "You are not alone. We are here and always have been." This will be the comfort needed in the midst of transition, but it's important to understand that not everyone will receive these revelations in the same way. While some will open up to them, others will feel fear and try to run away, believing they're going crazy. The reality shock can be overwhelming for those who've never sought to look within themselves. Therefore, the difference between surviving the new reality or getting lost in it will lie in the ability to embrace the unexpected without rejecting it. This night will be remembered as a turning point, not for external signs, but for the internal transformations that will silently take place within millions of people. September 2nd will mark the beginning, but it will be on that night that many will finally understand that the world will never be the same again. And when they open their eyes the next morning, they will carry within them the certainty that the old is gone, and the new can no longer be avoided. On September 2nd, 2025, each person will be placed before an invisible mirror, not a glass mirror, but a profound reflection of their own consciousness. At that moment, there will be no escaping who you truly are, because the Earth's energy will project outward everything you've tried to hide. Those who have lived by appearances will see their masks shatter. Those who have always tried to deceive themselves will realize that the truth is engraved in their soul, impossible to erase. This mirror doesn't judge, punish, or condemn. It simply shows. It shows where you've been vibrating in recent years, whether your steps were guided by courage or fear, truth or lies, gratitude or resentment. Many will see clearly for the first time how far they've strayed from themselves. Others, on the contrary, will be moved to realize that even when they fell, they chose to continue seeking the light. The shock of looking into this mirror will be immense. There will be those who cannot bear what they see reflected back and will try to distract themselves, escape, deny it. But the more they deny it, the heavier the feeling of being trapped in the old world will be. Those who have the courage to look themselves in the eye will discover something precious, that change has always been in their hands, and that now, more than ever, it is necessary. This mirror will also bring revelations about how we treat others. It will reveal the truth of our intentions, even those we think are hidden. It will be impossible to feign compassion if our heart has never truly felt it. It will be impossible to feign kindness when in reality, it was feeding our ego. Everything will be exposed, not before an audience but before our very soul. And this will be the most intimate test of all. The mirror of consciousness is, deep down, a gift, because only when we see clearly can we truly choose. This is the great opportunity that September 2nd will bring, the opportunity to see yourself without veils, without illusions, without disguises. The question is, will you have the courage to hold that gaze until the end? While many will rush to seek answers outside, trying to find an explanation for what is happening in news, leaders, or gurus, those who truly resist the transition will understand that the only force capable of sustaining them is inner faith, not blind faith in dogma or promises, but faith that arises from within, from the silent certainty that there is a greater purpose guiding everything. This will be the true fuel to navigate the chaos without losing our way. The test of inner faith will be harsh, because the world outside will show signs of collapse. Systems that seemed unshakable will begin to show signs of weakness. Social and emotional structures will tremble. In this scenario, it will be easy to give in to collective despair, but the challenge will be to remain calm, like someone standing firm in the center of a storm. This inner peace will not be the result of ignorance. but of a deep trust that despite appearances, everything is being reorganized into something greater. Many will ask, how can we believe when everything around us seems to be crumbling? And the answer lies precisely in the ability to detach from external factors and listen to what pulses within. The heart will be the compass, intuition will be the map, and faith will be the foundation that supports each step. This faith needs no proof, because it becomes the proof itself. It is certainty without explanation, trust without guarantees, the leap into the dark that reveals a path of light. This trial will also show that true faith is not measured in spoken words, but in silent actions. It will be seen in the way you treat others even when you're afraid. It will be perceived in how you choose to react in the face of chaos, whether with despair or serenity. Faith isn't just believing something will work out. It's acting as if it already is, even when your eyes tell you otherwise. On September 2nd, this inner faith will be your greatest shield, because it will prevent you from being swept away by the waves of collective panic and will keep you firmly on the path your soul has already chosen. Those who cultivate this faith will discover that they don't need external guarantees to survive the new reality. And more than that, they will realize that they have never been alone, because this faith is the direct link to the greater essence that sustains all life. On September 2nd, 2025, Earth will not only usher in a new cycle, it will shatter the illusions that have kept millions trapped in the old world. Everything built on deception, lies, and appearances will begin to crumble, and there will be no way to sustain facades. The collapse of illusions will be like a silent earthquake. It won't destroy buildings, but it will shatter beliefs, systems, and identities that no longer have a solid foundation. And when the masks fall, everyone will have to face what's left. This collapse will be felt in different ways. For some, it will be an immense relief, as if a weight has finally been lifted from their shoulders. They will realize they were living in invisible prisons, sustaining roles that were never theirs, obeying rules that never resonated with their truth. For others, however, it will be a crushing pain, because illusions have become the foundation of life, and without them, they will not know who they are. The emptiness will be the greatest challenge, but also the greatest opportunity. It is at this moment that many will realize that it wasn't about losing something, but about gaining clarity. When illusions are shattered, reality may seem harsh, but it is real, and reality always has the power to set us free. It will be painful to face that certain relationships were merely conveniences, that certain successes were merely vanity, that certain achievements never brought peace. But only with this truth is it possible to build something that truly makes sense. The collapse will also reveal that many of the external structures we trusted were never safe. The sense of stability many found in systems, traditions, or even people will be replaced by a starker reality. Nothing outside of you can guarantee your safety. This discovery will be frightening, but transformative, because once you understand that the only real foundation is within yourself, you will never again be held hostage by what happens outside. The collapse of illusions is not the end, but a new beginning. It's like the demolition of an old building so that something new can be built. The dust and noise may be frightening, but they are merely signs that the reconstruction has begun. On September 2nd, many will mourn the shattered illusions, but those who remain steadfast will realize that for the first time they are standing on real ground from which to rebuild their lives. After the shock of shattering illusions, a moment will come when a new perspective will begin to emerge. It will be as if human eyes, accustomed to seeing only the surface, suddenly begin to see invisible layers of reality. Small details will take on new meanings. A tree, a loving gesture, the silence of a morning. Everything will seem charged with a depth that previously went unnoticed. It's as if the earth itself is saying, "Now you are truly seeing." This new perspective will not only be a shift in perception, but a shift in consciousness. Those who experience it will realize they are not isolated, but deeply connected to everything around them. The wind touching their faces, the water flowing in rivers, the warmth of the sun, all will be felt as part of themselves. This connection will bring not only joy but also responsibility, because it will become clear that every act, every choice, reverberates within the whole. The emergence of this perspective will also reveal a hidden beauty. Not the superficial beauty that society sells, but a beauty that arises from the essence. People who once seemed ordinary will come to be seen as bearers of a unique light. Simple places will gain an inexplicable charm. It will be as if a veil has been lifted, revealing that life has always been extraordinary, but few had eyes to see it. But this new perspective will also require courage, because, along with beauty, it will reveal the world's wounds. It will be impossible to ignore suffering, injustice, and imbalance. And while it will bring enchantment, this perspective will demand action. It will no longer be possible to live as if nothing matters, because every detail will show that everything matters. It will be the awakening of a broader consciousness, one that transforms not only how we see, but how we live. On September 2nd, 2025, the birth of this perspective will mark the difference between those who merely survive and those who truly live, because truly seeing is a revolutionary act. It's like waking from a deep sleep and realizing that the world has always been pulsing in vivid colors, but you are only seeing shadows. And once this perspective awakens, there's no going back. The greatest challenge of this day will not be outside, but within. The true crossing will not be from one physical place to another, but from the mind to the heart, from fear to trust, from darkness to light. Many will realize that they have always sought external portals, expecting grand signs in the sky or sudden changes on earth, when in fact the portal has always been within them. This inner crossing will be the key that separates those who advance from those who remain stuck. Making this crossing won't be easy. Your mind will scream, reminding you of all the guilt, insecurities, and limitations we carry. It will try to convince you that you're not ready, that you're not worthy, that you can't do it. But this is the exact moment when your soul needs to take control. The inner crossing requires a leap of trust, even if your eyes can't yet see the other side. It's walking in the dark, believing that the ground will appear beneath your feet. This journey will also reveal deep memories. Many will remember past lives, old promises, pacts made with themselves in other times. These memories will come as flashes, not to imprison you, but to show you that you have always been preparing for this moment. Everything you have experienced so far, every pain, every fall, every victory, was part of a silent training session so you could cross over now. Those who resist this crossing will feel an immense emptiness, as if trapped between two worlds. They will no longer be able to fit into the old, but they will also lack the courage to embrace the new. This will be the hardest test, because it will require abandoning everything they know, with no guarantee of what will come. But the truth is that, on the other side, there is not only uncertainty, there is freedom. And this freedom is the gift of the crossing. On September 2nd, 2025, each of us will be called to cross this inner portal. Some will do so courageously and discover a horizon never imagined. Others will hesitate and remain on the border, awaiting another cycle. But everyone, without exception, will feel that the moment has arrived. Earth will ask nothing more than your courage to cross. Amidst so many changes and goodbyes, there will also be reunions that will touch the heart deeply. September the 2nd will not only be a day of separations, but also of unions. Souls who have walked apart for centuries will finally meet again. Spiritual partners, friends from other lives, soul families who promise to reunite at this very moment in history. This reunion will be living proof that nothing is lost, that true bonds survive time and space. These reunions won't just happen physically. Many will feel connections so intense that they'll seem to recognize someone by their gaze, even though they've never seen that person before. Others will notice that certain relationships suddenly intensify, as if an invisible force has accelerated their bonds. This won't be coincidence, but part of a larger plan, to reunite those who share the same mission in this new cycle on Earth. The reunion of souls will bring comfort to those who have suffered from previous breakups, because when one departs, another arrives. When one bond dissolves, another blossoms. This dance of encounters and farewells is the universe's way of ensuring you never walk alone. Even if some depart, others will appear to fill the void, and these new bonds will be even stronger, born of truth and vibrational attunement. These reunions will also have a greater purpose. They won't just be relationships of affection, but spiritual alliances. Together, these soul groups will have the mission of sustaining the energy of the new reality, of spreading clarity, courage, and hope amidst the chaos. Each reunion will be like an essential piece being placed in the right place of a great puzzle, and when these pieces come together, they will form the image of the new world that is emerging. Ultimately, these reunions will remind you that the journey was never lonely. Even when it seemed you were walking alone, there were ancient promises guiding your steps to this moment. On September 2nd, when the doors open, many will look around and realize they've reunited with those they always dreamed of walking with. And this will be one of the greatest gifts of this new reality. When the sun sets on September 2nd, 2025, nothing will be the same. Even if, at first glance, the world appears to remain the same, deep down, each person will have crossed an invisible line. The old will no longer hold the same power, and the new will have already taken root. Some will feel a profound relief, as if they are finally breathing the air of freedom. Others, however, will live days of confusion and resistance, trying to rebuild walls on ground that no longer supports them. This future will not be uniform. There will be those who awaken with a different glow in their eyes, carrying within them a serene certainty that they belong to something greater. They will be like beacons in the darkness, inspiring those still lost to find their way. At the same time, there will be those who insist on remaining in the shadows, repeating old patterns and refusing to let go of the past. But even these, sooner or later, will be called to change because the earth will not go back. The future after Selection Day will also show that each choice came at a price. Those who aligned with the new vibration will notice doors opening, opportunities arising, and unprecedented clarity guiding each step. Those who resisted will feel that everything seems heavy, blocked, and meaningless. This is not punishment, but a natural consequence of choosing to remain at a frequency that no longer resonates with the planet. The difference between the two will be visible, not in possessions or titles, but in peace of mind. This future will require courage and humility. Courage to walk a still unknown path without guarantees but with the confidence that it leads to something greater. Humility to recognize that we are just beginning, that we don't know everything, and that we still need to learn to live in alignment with the earth and with each other. This learning will not be imposed but felt. It will come through small, everyday choices, through the silent actions that will shape the new reality. And now I speak directly to you who have come this far. If this message has touched your heart, it's because you are part of this calling. You already feel the change within you, and know it's no coincidence that you heard these words today. Therefore, I invite you to subscribe to this channel and walk with me on this journey, because together we can hold the light in this time of transition. And I want to ask you something special. Write the keyword in the comments. Survival. This way I will know how many really stayed with me until the end and how many are ready to cross over to the new reality.